Let me tell you something nobody wants to admit. Your attention span isn't just getting worse, it's being systematically cooked. And the worst part, you're helping it happen. Every morning, you wake up, grab your phone, and within 30 seconds, you've already lost. You've handed your brain over to an algorithm that knows exactly how to keep you scrolling, clicking, and refreshing until suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you've accomplished absolutely nothing. But here's what's interesting. There's one simple change that fixes this. One shift that 99% of people will never make because it sounds too boring, too simple, too obvious. And yet the people who make this change, they're the ones who actually get things done while everyone else is stuck in an endless loop of distraction. And yeah, we're also going to dive into raw dogging, that wild trend where people are sitting on 7-hour flights with absolutely nothing. No phone, no entertainment, nothing. Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me till the end because what they're discovering about this trend will actually blow your mind. Let's dive in. The uncomfortable truth about your brain. Here's the reality check you need. Your brain wasn't designed for the world you're living in. Think about it. For thousands of years, human brains evolved to notice movement because movement meant either food or danger. Your ancestors who got distracted by every rustle in the bushes, they survived. The ones who could focus deeply on one thing while ignoring everything else, they got eaten by tigers. Fast forward to today. That same survival mechanism that kept your ancestors alive is now being hijacked by your smartphone. Every notification, every ping, every red dot, your brain interprets these as potential threats or rewards, and it can't tell the difference between a text from your friend and a tiger in the bushes. So what happens? You check. Every single time your phone buzzes and your brain screams, could be important, could be dangerous, could be exciting, even when you know intellectually that it's probably just another email about a sale you don't care about. This is why willpower doesn't work. You're not weak, you're not lazy, you're fighting against millions of years of evolution, plus teams of engineers whose literal job is to make apps as addictive as possible. But here's where it gets worse. Every time you give in, every time you check your phone, switch tabs, or scroll for just a minute, you're training your brain that distraction is the default. You're essentially teaching a puppy to pee on the carpet and then wondering why it won't stop. Your attention span isn't dying. It's being trained to be short. And the trainers, they're making billions of dollars off your inability to focus. The hidden cost. Nobody talks about. Let me paint you a picture of what's really happening when you can't focus. It's not just that you're unproductive. That's a surface level problem. The real cost is that you're losing your ability to think deeply about anything. Deep thinking, the kind that leads to insights, creativity, and actually solving problems, requires sustained attention. You need to hold multiple complex ideas in your head simultaneously and see how they connect. But when your attention span is shattered into 30-second chunks, you can't do that anymore. You become a surface-level thinker. You skim articles instead of reading them. You watch summary videos instead of engaging with full concepts. You form opinions based on headlines instead of actually understanding the issues. And here's the scary part. You don't even notice it happening. It's like slowly going blind. Each day is barely different from the last, but 5 years later, you can't see it all. The cost isn't just professional success or academic achievement. It's your relationships. When was the last time you had a real conversation without checking your phone? When was the last time you sat with your own thoughts without immediately reaching for a distraction? You're losing the ability to be present in your own life. And that's not dramatic. That's literally what's happening. The one change that fixes everything. All right, here it is. The thing I promised you at the beginning. The one change that will fix your attention span. Make boredom your new best friend. I know. You're thinking, that's it? That's a big secret? But hear me out, because this is deeper than it sounds. Your brain right now operates on a stimulation economy. It's constantly searching for the next hit of dopamine. Scroll, click, check, refresh, over and over. Your baseline for normal has become so high that anything less than constant entertainment feels unbearable. Reading a book? Boring. Studying? Boring. Having a conversation without pulling out your phone? Unbearable boredom. But here's the trick. Boredom isn't the problem. Boredom is the solution. When you can sit with boredom, when you can tolerate those uncomfortable moments where nothing exciting is happening, your brain starts to reset. Your dopamine baseline drops back to normal levels, and suddenly the things that used to seem boring become interesting again. That book you couldn't get through, engaging. That study session, productive. That conversation, actually meaningful. The people who can embrace boredom are the ones who can focus because they're not constantly running from discomfort toward the next distraction. They can sit with the uncomfortable feeling of doing something hard and push through it. And guess what? There's actually a trend that proves this works. It's called raw dogging. The raw dogging revolution. You've probably seen this trend blowing up recently. People raw dogging flights. And no, this isn't what it sounds like. Get your mind out of the gutter. Raw dogging a flight means taking a long flight with absolutely nothing. No phone, no book, no music, no movies, no food, no drinks. Just sitting there for hours, staring at the seat in front of you or out the window. Sounds insane, right? Like some kind of self-inflicted torture? But here's what's wild. People who do this report it as one of the most meditative, clarifying experiences they've ever had. They describe it as their brain finally having space to think, to process, to actually be present without any external input. One guy raw dogged a 7-hour flight from New York to London. No entertainment, no distractions. He said the first hour was torture. His brain was screaming for stimulation. But by hour 3, something shifted. His thoughts became clearer. He started actually thinking about his life, his goals, his relationships. By the time he landed, he felt more mentally clear than he had in years. This is what I'm talking about when I say embrace boredom. Raw dogging is the extreme version, but it proves a crucial point. When you remove all external stimulation, your brain doesn't shut down. It wakes up. Your brain needs boredom the way your body needs rest. It's not wasted time. It's recovery time. It's when your brain processes everything you've been cramming into it. It's when creativity happens. It's when you actually figure out what you think about things instead of just consuming other people's thoughts. The raw dogging trend is people accidentally discovering what monks and deep thinkers have known for centuries. Stillness is powerful. Boredom is productive. And your brain's default state, when you're not drowning it in stimulation, is actually quite brilliant. How to actually rebuild your attention span. Okay, so you understand the problem. You get why boredom matters. Now let's talk about how to actually fix this. Step 1, make your phone ugly. I'm serious. Your phone is designed to be visually appealing. Colorful icons, satisfying animations, that little red notification dot that's basically screaming at your lizard brain to tap it. So make it ugly. Change your display to grayscale. Move all your apps into one boring gray folder on the second or third page. Remove widgets. Set your wallpaper to plain black or gray. Make your home screen look like a Nokia from 2005. Why does this work? Because your brain stops seeing your phone as a source of dopamine. It becomes just a tool, boring, functional, not exciting. When your phone looks like filling out tax forms, you stop reaching for it every 47 seconds. Step 2, delete the slot machines. Social media apps are literally designed like slot machines. You pull down to refresh, just like pulling a slot machine lever, and you get a random reward. Maybe something interesting, maybe not. That randomness is what makes it so addictive. Delete them, or at least remove them from your phone and only access them on your computer. This creates friction, and friction is your friend. When checking Instagram requires turning on your computer, logging in, and navigating to the site, you'll do it way less. And when you do, it'll be intentional, not compulsive. Step 3, practice boredom exposure therapy. This is where the magic happens. You need to train your brain to tolerate boredom again. Start small. Sit for 5 minutes with absolutely nothing. No phone, no book, no music, just you and your thoughts. Set a timer and commit. The first minute will be uncomfortable. Your brain will panic. It'll tell you this is stupid and pointless. That panic, that's withdrawal. You're literally going through dopamine withdrawal and it's supposed to be uncomfortable. By minute 3, something interesting happens. Your brain stops fighting and starts thinking. Random thoughts emerge, creative ideas surface, you remember things you forgot. Your mind starts to wander in productive ways instead of just seeking the next hit of stimulation. Do this daily. Gradually increase the time. After 2 weeks of daily 5-minute boredom sessions, try 10 minutes, then 15. Step 4, monotask. like your life depends on it. Multitasking is a lie. Your brain doesn't multitask. It switches rapidly between tasks, and every switch costs you focus and energy. So practice monotasking. One thing at a time, fully committed. When you study, just study. No music, no background TV, no quick check of your phone. When you eat, just eat. When you talk to someone, just talk. Phone face down, full attention. Start with 10-minute blocks. One task, 10 minutes, full focus. Then take a 2-minute break. Don't check your phone during the break. Stand up, stretch, look out a window. As you build this muscle, increase what's the blocks. 20 minutes, then 30, then 60. Eventually, you'll be able to focus for 90 minutes straight, and that's when you become genuinely dangerous. Step 5, raw dog, your daily activities. You don't have to raw dog a flight to get the benefits. Try raw dogging your daily walk. No headphones, no podcasts, no music. Just walk and think. Try raw dogging your morning coffee. Just sit with your coffee. No phone, no reading, no TV. Just you, your drink, and your thoughts. Raw dog your commute once a week. No podcast, no music, no checking email. Just sit and observe. These tiny pockets of boredom throughout your day are like little workouts for your attention span. Each one makes you slightly stronger, slightly more comfortable with stillness, slightly less dependent on constant input. What happens when you actually do this? Let me tell you what changes when you rebuild your attention span. First, you notice things, details in conversations, patterns in your work, ideas that connect in surprising ways. Your brain starts processing information deeply again instead of skimming everything. Second, your anxiety drops massively. Turns out, constant stimulation creates constant stress. When you remove the noise, your nervous system finally gets to relax. Third, you become present. You're actually in the room during conversations. You're actually experiencing meals instead of photographing them. You're living your life instead of documenting it for an algorithm. Fourth, and this is the crazy part, you start to enjoy things again. Books become engaging, conversations become interesting, even mundane tasks become somewhat meditative because your dopamine baseline has reset, so everything becomes rewarding again. But here's the most important change. You start to trust yourself. When you can sit with boredom, when you can focus deeply, when you're not constantly running from discomfort, you prove to yourself that you're capable. You're not weak, you're not broken, you just needed to stop fighting against yourself and start working with how your brain actually functions. The final truth. Here's what nobody tells you. Fixing your attention span isn't about productivity hacks, it's about identity. Your attention is the most valuable resource you have, not your time, your attention. The apps know this, that's why they fight so hard to steal it. They're literally in a war for your attention, and most people don't even realize they're losing. But you're different. You're here, which means you actually care about fixing this. So start today. Make your phone ugly. Delete the slot machines. Sit with boredom for 5 minutes. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you're voting for the person you want to become. 6 months from now, you'll look back and barely recognize who you were. Because the person who can focus, who can think deeply, create meaningfully, and be fully present, that person is unstoppable. Your attention span isn't broken forever. It's just been trained poorly. And anything that can be trained one way can be retrained another way. The question is, are you willing to be uncomfortable long enough to fix it? If you found this valuable, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me, what's one thing you're going to raw dog this week? Your future focused self is already thanking you for starting today. Now go reclaim your attention. You've got work to do.